When I took delivery finally of my BYD Atto 3 electric crossover small SUV, I drove it home. I drove it for the week, didn't charge it. And I thought to myself, the battery doesn't seem to be going down. This is weird. Well, turns out maybe I was kind of right. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, you can join our Facebook group. I'll put a link in the description below, and also make sure you subscribe to get updates in your feed. But if you are really new to the channel, you won't be aware of the fact that I recently took delivery of a BYD Atto 3. Now, I first started talking about BYD on this channel when I first started the channel just over a year and a half ago when, to be honest, no one was really talking about them. A lot of naysayers were saying, yeah, they're not good, they're rubbish, they're not going to do anything. Well, clearly the evidence was very wrong. And then what happened? BYD became Tesla's #1 competitor worldwide. Now, I don't think anyone is arguing with that fact anymore. People used to be saying that BYD was making a loss on its cars. It was unsustainable. It couldn't actually succeed using its current business model. Well, at the time, I refuted those claims using logic. Logic is pretty easy to come by when it comes to the automotive industry. Surprise, surprise. All you have to do is pay a little subscription fee and you get heaps of information, which is sometimes very useful. BYD, it turned out, was actually the only business model that really could compete with Tesla, now at least. Why? The two companies are extremely vertically integrated. But BYD mass manufactures lithium iron phosphate blade battery cells. And by the way, my friends, if you're not aware, that's the only way that Tesla makes money. Really, think about it. The cars they make money from, the most money from, are the ones using lithium iron phosphate cells. Majority of those are from CATL. Some of them now are from BYD as well. It wasn't until Tesla started selling those Chinese-made lithium iron phosphate battery-powered Model 3s and now Model Ys that they actually began to make some serious money. Fast forward to today, and BYD are selling their electric cars all over the world. Nowhere near the numbers that Tesla are. Nowhere near. When I say nowhere near, I mean, yeah, BYD is crushing the Chinese market, but at this point in time, they're only making a little mark outside of China. BYD is really now the biggest car seller in China. The reason I say that, every legacy automotive company has no more than 50% ownership in their business in China, meaning they have no more than 50% of the profits of sales in China. BYD, on the other hand, owns all of their business in China, and they're, well, basically leading the Chinese car industry. This is awesome. But right now, BYD is very much a newcomer in markets outside of Australia. So when BYD was announced as a vehicle brand that was coming to Australia, the day it was available, I put in my pre-order. It took way longer to get the car than I thought it would. It took longer than anyone thought it would. There was a whole bunch of debacles and issues that happened along the way, and I'll put some links in the description below so you can find out what those were. Finally, I got it about a month ago. The car has been a mixed bag. Some parts of it I love, some parts of it not so much, and I'll talk about those things soon. But one thing that I think people are undervaluing in this car is its battery pack and its ability to actually get more range than it itself claims. That's what I first noticed, and I thought, this can't be right. Maybe I'm just looking at this wrong. Drove it some more, and I started to think, it seems to have more range than people are saying. Well, turns out, maybe I was right. Maybe it wasn't so crazy after all. The BYD, otherwise known in China as the Yen Plus, is one of the hottest electric vehicles on the market right now. In November, it had more than 30,000 sales worldwide. That's pretty impressive. I mean, think about it. That's more than most major legacy automakers sell globally for electric cars of all models that they have. It's actually already available in a number of countries. Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, numerous countries that's going to soon. You can buy them now in Europe, Japan. Yeah, you can see they're coming big time. Now, the range test results are quite interesting for the 60.5 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate blade battery pack. It's expected to have a WLTP range of 420 kilometers or 261 miles, compared to 320 kilometers or 199 miles of the smaller battery pack version. That smaller battery pack is the 49.92 kilowatt hour version. Now, the much more popular version is the longer range version because it's only a few $1,000s more to get a much bigger battery pack. I did question at the time why the range was so small. Well, not small, but smallish. If you think about it, the Tesla Model Y gets slightly more range than this in its base SR version, the lithium iron phosphate version, but it has a similar size battery pack and it's a much, much bigger car. Probably 20% bigger car. How is that? How could that be? Well, what I think it is that the numbers have been underquoted. A very interesting thing noted by Bjorn Nyland is that it can beat the WLTP range rating in good weather conditions. According to Bjorn Nyland's video, at a speed of 90 kilometers an hour, which is around 56 miles an hour, the average energy consumption is 134 watts per kilometer or 216 watts per mile. Now, he's not the only person who's found that the car has very impressive efficiency. Other car journalists have had a similar experience. When combined with the estimated usable battery capacity of 59.6 kilowatt hours, it turns out the driving range is as high as 445 kilometers or 277 miles. That's about the same range as the Model Y in its base model variant, but that's the most popular variant in the world. So I think that's pretty relevant for comparison and has a very similar sized battery pack. This result is comparable with other global electric cars in the segment, but those cars that it's comparable with use lithium ternary batteries, which last significantly less. They do. You get twice as many charges out of a lithium iron phosphate battery, plus you can charge it to 100% and discharge it to 0% without any damage to the battery. It's a big advantage. I mean, think about it. The average lithium ternary battery or nickel-based chemistry battery, which is in most electric cars from other manufacturers, aside from Tesla's base model variants, is a battery that you shouldn't be charging to 100%. That's what the manufacturers say. They say maybe maximum 90% and don't discharge it beyond 10%. That means it has 20% less range than is claimed. That's something you have to consider when you buy one of those cars versus a lithium iron phosphate battery. While the lithium iron phosphate pack may appear to have less range, its real world range could actually be more. In this instance, that's true. Now, Bjorn tested the car and found that he was able to achieve 445 kilometers of range or 277 miles, energy consumption of 134 watts per kilometer or 216 watts per mile, used battery capacity of 59.6 kilowatt hours. He believes that that's probably the usable size of the pack. Temperature, 25 degrees Celsius at the time of testing, using the rubbish tires that it comes with, which they are rubbish. Sorry, BYD or people who've bought one. I'm probably going to replace the tires on mine. They are Atlas Batman A51s, and they're not great in the wet, put it that way. Bjorn was not able to test the BYD Atto 3 at the second speed that he typically uses, 120 kilometers an hour or 75 miles an hour. So we're going to have to wait for more testing in Europe to find out the real range at that speed, which is going to be significantly less. But this still gives us a pretty good indication that the range of this car is possibly better than advertised. That's very rare in the industry. And I've got to say, that's one thing that I found BYD are good at: understating and over-delivering. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.